markets racked up an impressive list of health code violations during their November inspections, but they didn't do as bad as one restaurant that failed its inspection. The Night Team's Tim Gerber takes us behind the kitchen door.
Las Quesadillas Poblanas, located in the 7400 block of West Military Drive, failed their health inspection last month with a score of 66. The business just had a 74 on an inspection in August, which followed a 91 in May of this year. So why the big drop this time? The inspector found a cold hold unit that was too warm. Several food items were discarded. They also had to toss out food found in Tupperware containers that had been prepared back in October. There was black and yellow mold-like buildup in the ice machine, and clean food storage containers were visibly soiled. Employees were not washing their hands properly, several just rinsing them off in cold water with no soap. Another worker was handling tortillas with their bare hands. The business racking up 10 repeat violations. The inspector leaving them a list of corrections for a re-inspection and gave them 24 hours to buy a permit. I stopped by recently to see what they had to say about the poor performance.
This is a failing score. That's not good. What happened?
Turns out, not much.
All right, they're not talking. Let's go.
Coliseum Meat Market and Grocery, located in the 400 block of Sprigsdale Avenue, earned a 77 on their November inspection. A bowl of raw chicken was found in a mop sink. It was discarded by the manager. The report states multiple critical problems should be conveyed to owner and repaired immediately due to high risk of contamination. But there's no further explanation what that means. The water was turned off at one sink, and the business was told to repair or replace other sinks and clean the grease trap. They were given 7 days to make corrections in time for a re-inspection. Culebra Super Meat Market number 3 at 6060 Old Pearsall earned a 79 last month. They had a box of moldy empanadas in a refrigerator. They were also keeping a bag of cooked shrimp on raw red meat. Employees were seen washing and rinsing meat containers but not using bleach to sanitize. There was no working hand sink in the bakery. The ice machine doors had exposed wood, and a floor in a storage area was moist with black spots. The business also needed to repair several holes. A re-inspection was ordered. Meanwhile, Culebra Meat Market number 1 in the 2800 block of Culebra earned an 83. They had a package of beef liver in a display case with a sell-by date of March 21st. The inspection happened on November 7th. They also had rotting produce in another display case. The meat grinder had food debris buildup in the crevices, while door handles were also dirty with food debris. Perhaps contributing to the problem, all the hand sinks were cluttered and paper towels weren't readily available at one sink. A re-inspection was ordered. For Behind the Kitchen Door, Tim Gerber, KSAT 12 News.
More than 120,000 Teslas are being recalled because doors could unlock during crashes. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says the defect is happening to models S and X cars made between 2021 through 2023. Tesla leaders say the issues came to light during a routine crash test earlier this month. Tesla also says it's not aware of any injuries as a result of the defect. Owners of cars affected by the recall will be notified by mail in mid-February. An over-the-air software update was released for the cars impacted as well. The first Republican primary and caucus are each just weeks away. Jay O'Brien is in D.C. with how a court ruling may impact voters.
The first in the nation, Iowa caucus is now less than a month away. The crucial New Hampshire primary days after that. And voters in both states weighing in on the issues driving them.
My big concerns are the cost of health care.
And reacting to the explosive ruling from the Colorado Supreme Court, excluding former President Donald Trump from the state's Republican primary ballot, alleging he engaged in an insurrection.
I think it's justifiable.
I think it's totally crazy that they're removing him from the ballot. I feel like he should have the opportunity to be voted on. And if he loses, you should just lose fairly.
Trump has vowed to appeal the Colorado ruling and is using it in his pitch to voters as he continues to dominate most GOP primary polls. We asked Republican voters who they'd pick if the former president weren't in the race.
I think I could support Vivek Ramaswamy or DeSantis, but Trump has a record of success in the White House, and he has a foundation to build off of.
I like DeSantis because he has the experience, of running Florida.
Vivek and Trump, I think his mission statement sort of is truth, something along the lines of that.
I'm interested in all the candidates, so that's why I'm going out to all these rallies. Right now, Trump has my vote most definitely because of where he's been in the past and know where he stands on issues.
Crime in Bexar County among teens is high, but not all hope is lost for young people that end up in the juvenile justice system. We take a look at some community-led solutions next on the Nightbeat. Drugs, violence, and vehicle thefts. The head of the Bexar County Juvenile Prevention Department tells us more teenagers are getting involved in these types of crimes. But as I found out, there is hope for teenagers who end up in the juvenile justice system. In the past 3 weeks, at least a dozen Bexar County teens have been arrested for crimes ranging from vehicle theft to shootings and murders.
We have seen a trend where more younger children are coming into the system.
Bexar County Juvenile Chief Probation Officer Jill Mata says most crimes involving teenagers are committed by a small group of repeat offenders.
You have a small percentage of those children who do repeat their offenses and stay in the system.
She explains those kids are classified as high risk. Her office is stepping up supervision and monitoring, but she warns they're more than a statistic. They're teens facing challenges at home, potentially running away, skipping school, or even turning to drugs.
Those children often have a lot of discord at home. A lot of times they have a lot of needs that aren't met.
According to department data, probation referrals made between January and October are up year to year. There's been a 12% increase for violent crimes such as murder and sexual assault. Referrals for nonviolent crimes are up more than 46%, with the biggest increases in drugs, guns, and vehicle thefts. And misdemeanor youth crimes, including criminal mischief or theft, went up nearly 13%.
What can we do as a community to help these teenagers not end up in this problem?
One of the most important interventions for a child is having a pro-social, positive adult in their life.
On the bright side, she says, data shows the majority of youth in the juvenile system will not return.
And if we can address those kids, intervene positively with those kids at that earliest connection, that's where we can turn things around.
Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
All right, heading back outside with live cam tonight, 66 degrees here in San Antonio. Again, we've got the cloud cover in place and now a few light showers moving into Bexar County from the south. Despite finding even more showers out there earlier this afternoon, it was still a warmer than average day when we take a look at the almanac data. 63 degrees was the low temperature, well above average. 70 degrees, the high temperature, still above average in terms of our daytime high by about 6 degrees. Now, right now, we're in the 60s across all of South Central Texas. At 67 in New Braunfels, 67 as well as Kennedy, 64 in Kerrville, 61 in Edwards County over in Rock Springs. And that is exactly where we are seeing that cluster of rain and storms now move in from the west, starting to move into the far western portions of Edwards County. Now here in San Antonio, we are expecting some of those rain and storms to push into the Alamo City, generally in between about 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. first thing tomorrow morning, but then we quickly clear things out as that heads east and even more sunshine returns tomorrow afternoon. And yes, windy conditions for Christmas Day, but pleasant and cooler. We'll get you another look at all of that coming up after the break.
Welcome back. There is a little, look like a little fog, but hopefully that won't be there tomorrow, right?
I think first thing tomorrow morning, because grounds are still going to be a little saturated as we see this rain move through, there could be some fog out there, but then we're going to see the front move through, and that's going to clear us out. More sunshine, drier air, so we're not really going to have to contend with much fog as we head into the last week of 2023. So let's get you to those weather headlines here. Really tonight, the big focus is going to be the round of rain and storms moving in from the west. That's going to continue to push eastward through south central Texas into early Christmas Eve morning. After that, there's that sunshine that's going to return into the afternoon. High temperatures topping off above average in the 70s because of that. But into Christmas Day, as we see that reinforcing push of cooler air overnight tomorrow, yes, Santa's going to have a little bit of a tailwind. It will be pretty windy out there. Wind gusts out of the north at about 30 miles per hour into Christmas morning. Low humidity and cooler. A high temperature topping off near 60 degrees with a mix of sun and clouds for your Christmas Day on Monday. All right, so let's get you another check here at your Authority radar. Over the past 30 minutes, we've had some notable light showers start to pop up here, especially across the southwestern portion of Bexar County. So that's now moved over 1604 across I-35 as well, near Somerset, Lackland, even closer to the SeaWorld area as well as Leon Valley. That's continuing to work farther up to the north there as well. Even into Canyon Lake, portions of Comal County, a few more light showers, even a little pocket of some moderate rain just to the southwest of Canyon Lake. And we're continuing to monitor this cluster approaching Highway 277 right now, moving through Valverde County, right on far western Edwards County's doorstep. And you can see Del Rio starting to see a few showers work in there, as well as Lake Amistad, an area that definitely could use a bit more rain. So through the overnight, we're still going to see this broken line of rain and storms work eastward. So it moves through our western counties from now till about 2 a.m., pushes into portions of the hill country in between 2 to 5 o'clock in the morning. Then it starts to move into the San Antonio metro area in between 5 to 7 o'clock. So again, if you're stepping out first thing tomorrow morning, Christmas Eve travel plans, or just out and about around the Alamo City, do give yourself a little bit of extra time on the roadways and pack the umbrella, but you're not going to need it after this shifts eastward in between about 7 to 10. It moves through our eastern counties near Gonzales, Wilson County there as well, even Cuero and Shiner and Hallettsville. Then as we start to see that front move in, behind it, drier air pumps into the region, and we will start to see more sunshine into your Sunday afternoon. In terms of how much additional rain we could find out there in backyard rain gauges, it's looking like for the most part up to a quarter, maybe even half of an inch, with localized higher totals in a few different spots. So we'll definitely see what we can find before this all moves closer to the Houston area by midday and into the afternoon. Again, temperature wise, it will be another muggy and warmer than average start for your Christmas Eve, around 63 degrees at 7 a.m., already approaching 70 as we start to see some of that cloud cover break up by noon, and then plenty of sunshine helping those high temperatures top off in the low 70s by about 3 to 4 o'clock. That will take us into Christmas Day. Chillier in the morning, mid 40s expected first thing Monday. A mix of sun and clouds, high temperature near 60, so a bit cooler with that drier air. Wind gusts out of the north at about 30 miles per hour. So if you have any outdoor holiday decorations, or maybe your trash can is still out closer to the sidewalk, make sure that you bring those in closer to the house and secure those loose lawn items just to be safe. After those winds start to calm, Tuesday and into Wednesday mornings, colder upper 30s, highs transitioning to the 60s yet again all the way through next week. Plenty of sunshine, so after we get through this round of rain and storms tomorrow and that cold front moves in, Patty, it's going to be feeling very nice to wrap up the year.
Yeah, Santa sure is delivering some good news for the end of the year.
Definitely.
And we're wondering if Santa will also deliver something for the Cowboys, Mary.
That's a good question. They really need it when it comes to playing on the road. So we will see as soon as tomorrow. We're on to week 16 of the NFL season, and just 2 weeks remain after. The Cowboys trying to overcome their woes on the road when they visit Miami tomorrow. And Case Keenum was built for these moments. Last week he guided Houston to victory, hoping to do it again against his former team with a wild card spot in reach. Dallas superstar Luka Doncic dropped 39 points in a triple-double tonight to help the Mavericks defeat the Spurs 144-119. San Antonio was without its rookie sensation Victor Wembanyama because of a pregame mishap. Wembanyama sprained his ankle during warm-ups after stepping on a ball boy's foot, taking a few steps following a shot. We heard head coach Greg Popovich say earlier in the show Wembanyama wanted to play, and if it was a playoff game, he could have, but the team played it safe. The Spurs are back home Tuesday against the Jazz.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
The 10-4 Dallas Cowboys have a playoff spot locked in, but after their disappointing Week 15 performance at Buffalo, Dallas still has a lot to prove. The Cowboys have the 10-4 Miami Dolphins on the horizon. Both teams have offenses and defenses near the top of the league. And when they face off tomorrow afternoon, Dallas will be looking to move its road record back to 500 by trying to slow down Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, Raheem Mostert, and company.
Each week is an emphasis on certain things, and this week is the emphasis on setting the edge, so I just got to let my play do it for itself. But like I said, people always play the Cowboys differently. You know, it might be some things that we haven't seen. I mean, no one's ever seen Josh Allen hand the ball 39 times. I mean, like I said, this is a common thing. I just got to be ready to see what I see when I get out on the field.
The Dolphins are 2-point favorites. Kickoff is at 3:25 at Hard Rock Stadium. Miami can clinch a playoff berth with a win. Now tomorrow at noon, Houston Texans QB Case Keenum will make his first regular season start at NRG Stadium since December 28th of 2014 when the Cleveland Browns come to town. Keenan was a Brown in 2020 and 2021, so the journeyman knows a lot about Cleveland, hoping that will help the Texans overcome Myles Garrett and the Browns. Last week, Keenum, stepping in for C.J. Stroud, guided Houston to a big overtime win over Tennessee.
I've been in a lot of situations. I've been in a lot of systems, been in a lot of different games, and but God's made me who I am for moments like this, and it's you know, just trying to make sure that I'm ready when my number's called. And I said it before, you don't have to get ready if you stay ready.
The Texans are still in the race for one of the 3 AFC wildcard spots. 8-6 Houston hosting 9-5 Cleveland. Will have those games covered tomorrow at 5:30 and on instant replay. We'll be right back.
All right, scattered rain and a few isolated rumbles continue to move through eastern Valverde County, now fixing to cross over into western Edwards County and far western Kinney County. This will continue to move through south central Texas overnight and very early tomorrow morning. Then we clear things out by the afternoon. More sunshine returns, high temperatures topping off in the low 70s. By the way, not really expecting severe weather overnight, but it could be a bit noisy with some lightning and thunder. So we'll keep eyes on that. Christmas Day looking great, a little cooler and windy and pretty quiet into next week. Patty.
All right, wishing everyone a very stress-free Christmas tomorrow. And thanks for watching, and don't forget to tune in tomorrow starting at 6 a.m. for Good Morning San Antonio. Have a good night.